After watching the film Inspired to Ride years ago, French-Canadian ultra bikepacker Louis-Éric Simard took on the famous TransAm bike race, crossing 10 states in the USA, coast to coast, self-supported. If that wasn't enough, Louis-Éric is now on to his next big adventures, organizing his very own ultra bikepacking events, the Race Around Cuba and the TransCanada Bike Race, which crosses Canada from west to east over 12,500 kilometers or 7,767 miles and climbing 319,000 feet or the equivalent of Mount Everest 11 times. Louis-Éric is a successful entrepreneur and technologist, running his own software company and also creating his own bicycling products. And most interestingly, one of his favorite ride snacks is crickets. Don't miss this fun and inspiring episode. So you're definitely a man of many tricks and trades and talents.
I'll just give you a story about the 1030. During the Italy Divide race, the thing went berserk. It would not stop beeping. It would lose its tracks. And so what I did is during a meal at the restaurant, I convinced the restaurant owner to loan me his only Windows computer he had in the restaurant, which was actually his cash register. So I could install Wireshark on it, which is a tool to observe what's happening on the network. So I can figure out how the Garmin update was happening, so I could go and force patch the software to at least stop behaving in the most disagreeable way possible. So that's not really a good user experience with Garmin.
So you do have a coach. I'd imagine you train by time mostly, and you're doing a lot of intervals, those type of things, using power and or heart rate?
Yeah, power. Every bike has a power meter attached to it. The distances vary between 45 minutes and so far 6.5 hours. Greg George is the coach that I hired. I've been knocking at his door for multiple years because he has a certain number of athletes that he can work with to give them his proper time and focus. And there was just no space on his roster at all. Last October, he finally said yes, and I've been training with him ever since. He's a phenomenal coach. You ask him a technical question, and he's sending me emails that are pretty close to a scientific article with all the formulas and all the references and everything. It's just amazing. For a geek like me, he's the dream coach for what I'm doing.
Perhaps maybe 4 times then, because one from the West Coast to the East Coast, and then why not the opposite direction?
The opposite. So traveling towards the East Coast, I met a lot of tourers who would do the opposite, go east to west. And I noticed a huge difference. People going from west to east had a beautiful smile on their face. Mm-hmm. And because of the prevailing winds and the fact that it's a low gradient that never ends, there was a almost like a death mask quality to the people going east to west. So I would not recommend unless you really like self-punishment.
All right, so maybe that is the final ride then ultrasound. And when they get to the end, they'll drop dead happily that they've completed the most difficult ride that they could ever do. How much time will it take them to traverse the entire course?
Now, that's a bit of a guess, and it's a guess for multiple reasons. In the prairies, you have strong winds in your back throughout, and even people who are not trained to be racers, who are just tourers, mention days that are insane in length just because the wind carries you for a long part of that road. So there's going to be moments like in the Rockies, it's going to be slow moving simply because you have a lot of ascension. And the prairie is going to be faster. There's an area which will be psychologically difficult. That area, it's a forested area. There is nothing but beautiful vistas and trees around you and a few towns here and there. There are places on the map where I say, look, this is your last point at which to buy any kind of supplies, because if you don't have it with you, you'll have to hunt it yourself, which I don't recommend.
Check out our website for a full list of episodes, our YouTube video library, and of course, follow us on Facebook to get the latest and greatest straight to your feed. And if you're on the go, be sure to download our audio episodes from your favorite podcast platform, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Until next episode, Ultra Family, keep spinning Ultra.